And we are back with another edition of the Manliness Venture. This one from Chicago. This place is quite cold, as you can see. Snow is probably going to accumulate on me as I'm recording. But I want to do something special since I'm here. Men nowadays, we get a lot of flack for everything that's wrong with civilization. Part of that is true, but civilization was also built by men, and we don't get any praise for that. The Romans built roads that are still in use today. The Portuguese, the Spanish, and the British built and manned ships that discovered the New World. And men built all of these skyscrapers that you see behind me. Obviously, women played a huge important role in all of these societies as well. But men are the ones that built civilization from the ground up. Generally, we are the risk takers. So we are the ones that go out and build things like canals and roads and everything that makes society work. So in the spirit of honoring men and their work to build civilization and the incredible amount of engineering that goes into building society, I wanted to do something special. Enter the Chicago River. In the mid to late 19th century, Chicago was one of the fastest growing cities in the world. But they had a problem. A lot of people, that means a lot of waste. And all that waste was flowing into Lake Michigan. The main problem with that was that Lake Michigan supplied the drinking water. So you can imagine animal waste, human waste, factory waste, all of these things flowing into the lake and people drawing water from the lake to drink. This meant the spread of numerous diseases and plagues. So what were they to do? To solve the problem, Ellis, Sylvester, and Chesbrough suggested that they dig a tunnel far into the lake to draw water from there and simultaneously create an underground sewage system. Now this sewage system had to jack up buildings upwards to 10 feet, which in itself is an insane feat of engineering. But you can imagine that eventually the waste just made it to where they were drawing water from. So he needed to come up with something else.
How could I have been so careless?
He came up with this crazy idea of reversing the flow of the river. So the plan was to reverse it by digging a giant ditch past the Continental Divide, which is a high line where everything from the west goes into the Great Lakes and everything to the east goes into the Mississippi. Reversing the river would take all of the waste from going into Lake Michigan and take it upstream. Because of the Civil War and the Great Chicago Fire, funds were drained from the city, but eventually it was decided that the city needed to do this. And so thousands of men started digging. In the end, after 42 million cubic yards of soil and rock, they finally completed the project. On January 2nd, 1900, they broke the last dam that held back the river, and the river started to flow backwards. This was an ingenious and incredibly ambitious idea to deal with the problem of sewage and of waste. Nowadays, we have technology to treat the water, but they didn't have that back then. And so they went through this insanely Herculean effort to make sure that this city could continue to grow. All of this goes to say that when you put your mind to it, you can really accomplish anything. Don't forget your potential, don't waste it, and man up.